Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage. Welcome to episode 4 of Europa Universalis IV as England. We currently haven't gone to war with anybody yet. I've got a couple of good reasons for that. First of all, I've got absolutely no manpower. I don't have an awful lot of money. And the only person that I could really wage war against at the moment is France, who have a much larger army, much better combat statistics, and much better generals, or Burgundy, who have a crap ton of vassals and personal union partners. So, at the moment, it's probably not a terribly sensible idea to declare on either of them. France is preoccupied at the moment in another war, and if I had manpower, I might be tempted to jump on them. I'm actually considering... Oh, the Papal States declared war on Provence as well. Provence might not last much longer at this rate. One thing I was actually considering is doing something over here in Ireland. There's a bit of a war going on at the moment. Ulster, which is basically Tyrone. Tyrone and Munster are currently allied with each other, and they are in a war against Connaught. Connaught is, I believe, allied with Scotland. So we really want to try and grab Ireland. We could go over here and try and do something against these guys. That's a fairly big army. That's a 14 stack, and... well, they don't have a great general, but they do have a general. We have more men, but I don't know how quickly these guys could reinforce. And of course, if we... now, whose side is Scotland on? Scotland is on the side of Connaught, I think. I'm not sure where Scotland's armies are right now. But if we were to declare war against these guys, which of course we can't because we don't have a diplomat, let's just recall you from Brittany, just so we can try and find out what we could do here. So if we were to declare war on you, for example, you just have Tyrone, and Tyrone wouldn't even come in. Brittany would come in on our behest, which would be nice. What about if we just declared war on Tyrone? No one would come in to help you. That is interesting. We don't have a CB, which is problematic. So let's go ahead and see how quickly we can fabricate something here then. So let us go into covert actions, and we'll fabricate the claim on Ulster. And if that manages to go through, we will unmothball the fort in Meath. I think we will, actually. Because it shouldn't take too long for that to go through. And that will mean that the garrison should be up to a decent number. Because it does take time for the garrison to tick back up once you've unmothballed a fort. Hopefully we won't have too many problems with the French attacking me while I am busy doing that. Might be able to get Diplo access at the Founders. Founders fabricating the flame. Oh, words today. They have discovered that we are fabricating the claim. Wow, Connaught actually doing quite well there. Did they actually win? Is that war over? Because there's black flags going on. You're at war with Tyrone still, but what about Munster? Have they been separate pieced out? They've been separate pieced out. Wow. Ah, Brittany's declared war on Provence. Brittany's still my ally. I can't remember who I chose for my 4 allies now. It is Brittany, yeah. I might even end up called into that war. I love how one of my ships there just sailed through the land. Still only at 30-odd% with that one. Oh, infantry cost and cavalry cost go up. I guess that's not too bad, especially given the fact that we don't have any manpower to recruit any infantry or cavalry. We're still not even fully reinforced here, which is a real pain in the neck. Now, would Scotland give us military access? They would. So we could always walk through to try and take Ulster, which could be useful. We are still making a little bit of money. Of course, if we ever get enough manpower to be able to start reinforcing, that'll probably start going down quite quickly. Because currently we've got... mind you, the army maintenance is still quite high. Let me go ahead and march these guys up to Cumbria. It doesn't have a great supply limit, unfortunately. So I may have to split the stack up. We don't want to start taking attrition. In fact, let's just go ahead and split the group. Do that anyway. Don't want to take loads of attrition until we can actually go in and do something. One problem we may have here, of course, is the fact that it's going to be difficult to attempt to grab anything here if somebody else is sieging it out, but I think we might be okay. Nearly up to 70%, so we will keep our eye on that. Yeah, Provence are getting well and truly sieged out at the moment. That war's been going on a while. Starting this war here might be a really stupid idea, because it's going to end up with us taking more casualties. And we'll never get fully reinforced at this rate. I could consolidate, but we've got some good numbers. We get another tech. Is that a military tech? We're definitely going to grab the military tech, because that's going to make things a little bit easier in this war. We're at 83%. I'm just hoping that France or Burgundy doesn't decide that this will be a good time to jump on me. I think we should be okay, to be honest. So just waiting for that claim to go through on Tyrone there, and then we can go ahead and try and attack those guys. We should still be fine for attacking them. I don't think we'll have too many problems with allies. Munster might come in, but of course they're quite weak now as well. So, and of course we can always march through Meath. So that is done. So, yeah, Munster would still come in. Brittany are now in another war. That is fine. Let's go ahead and ask for military access from Scotland. Brilliant, we've got that. So, we are going to... now, of course, we will get a crossing penalty, because we've got to go through the strait here. And what I might want to do is take my trade fleet, Red Squadron. I'm going to put those in the Irish Sea, just because that will stop them from using their... I mean, they've only got like one transport, but they could still use that transport to blockade and stop me getting across this strait here. And also, of course, it means I can blockade them and we'll get faster siege. So let's go ahead and get this done. We're going to declare war. They're going to call in Munster, but we're not bothered about that. I'm already black flagged. Since when has that been a thing? Okay, we failed our mission, of course. I forgot about that. Failed my mission, which was to recover manpower. Have we got another mission that we can take? Conquer Ayrshire. We want to do that at some point. Become the Papal Controller. That might actually trigger. Because we are actually... we do have a good chance. We have a 28% chance of becoming the Papal Controller. And I've nearly got enough Papal influence to invest in another Cardinal. So, there is potentially a chance here that we might be able to do that. So we're going to send these guys in. We are going in with much higher numbers. They do have a general. Obviously, we do have that problem, of course, of the slight problem of the crossing penalty, but we should be okay there. We're just going to march through here and get massive attrition. This should technically be a relatively quick battle. In fact, you're going to go down and actually do that, and then we won't get quite as much attrition. You can stay here and do the siege. There we go. They'd already kind of committed because I doubled back, so we take an attrition tick from that. It's not too terrible. But that war should be over pretty quickly, which will be really good for us. Obviously, these are capitals, so they will have, by default, one rank of fort, but they don't actually have a fort. Yeah, neither of them actually have a castle. Let's recall the diplomat from Portugal. We'll go back and finish improving relations with Brittany, because that's what we were doing before we pulled that diplomat back to try and improve relations over here. Maybe we can actually grab Ulster and Leinster, although things are a lot more expensive to core now. Things are very, very expensive to core now. What may have been better would be to sort of vassalize somebody and just feed cores to them, which we'll probably have to do in the future. Well, it's much better to do that now, I think. But I'd have to spend an extra Diplo point and try and vassalize one of these guys, and then feed other provinces to them. So I think we'll just do this and see what happens. Hopefully this war's going to be quite quick, because I don't want to be in a position where... yeah, I really don't want to be in a position where France jumps on me. So let's see what we can do. We've got 100% blockade here. If I was to detach a siege... Oh, wow, we don't need much to siege there. So let's move down with these guys, and it just means that when this transport gets shoved out, we can just destroy that. So we're already at 33% war score. We do have another free merchant, I suppose... diplomat. I suppose I should keep him free, because we are going to need to peace out at some point. And yeah, manpower as Britain is always terrible for some reason. I think what we might do after this is actually just consolidate. Because then if we need to make up our numbers, at least we can just hire mercenaries. Seems like the most sensible idea. We're in quite a good position here. We're not being attacked by any of these guys, so... I think we've wiped out all of their armies. We've got their only 2 provinces, well, not occupied, but under siege, so they can't actually get any troops to attack me. Come on, 42%. Oh, we have actually breached the walls in Ulster. We could assault, but we take very, very heavy losses there, which is something I've got no intention of doing, given the current situation. 42%. Come on, you're nearly at the end of that siege tick. Oh, and you didn't get it. Defenders desert. Didn't even get a walls breached on this one. The walls are still up down here in Leinster. Whereas up here in Ulster, we have got the walls breached. Right, we're now getting... oh, no, it's military access from Brittany, of course. We've won this siege here. So let's get you guys back home to Londinium. And hopefully this should pop next. Now, we could always just try and take one of them and just force vassalize them. Will put me over my relationship limit. But it's probably better to lose that 1 Diplo power a month. Yeah, we're already over 1 because we've got our access with Scotland, which we will shut down shortly. But it might be better off losing that 1 Diplo power a month. Oh, cool. 10 Navy tradition. And not lose, like, a massive amount of admin power trying to core places. Well, let's see what happens when we grab Leinster. There we go. We can now... Oh, let's let this naval battle finish. Hopefully we won't lose any ships there, and we do not. Okay, so let's assume that we wanted to sue for peace, which we do. It's not an assumption. How much would it cost to core either of these? We can find out, actually, if we do it in this thing here. Where is it? It used to be somewhere that used to show you what the coring cost is. And now I can't find it. That's war score. Can't find the actual number. There used to be somewhere you could see how much it would cost to core something, because I know that these provinces are incredibly expensive to core. So what do I want to do? What option do I want to take? I mean, we could definitely grab both of them. That's not a problem at all. You know, Ulster would be relatively cheap to grab. I guess we could do one of each. We could grab Ulster and try and core it ourselves. And then we could make Munster a vassal. Let's do that. Nothing else we need. So, send demands. There we go. So that worked out. So this is now our vassal. And this is now ours. Now, what's the coring cost there? 92. Not as terrible as I thought it would be. So we'll go ahead and core that. We will... bring you back to London. We will get rid of that fort, because I don't think we need it right now. We will get these guys back together and get them protecting trade. And then we're going to consolidate up. No point consolidating until everybody's back. Let's go and cancel our... No, actually, let's not cancel our military access until we've actually got back through Scotland. So you guys are going to group up, and you're going to go home at war, protect trade in the English Channel. Thank you very much. Potential rebel uprising, that is going to be in Ulster. Well, that is expected. So we will need to suck up to Leinster shortly. So let's let these guys get through Scotland first. There we go. So now we can go and cancel our military access with Scotland. And we will also go and start sucking up with Leinster. They actually don't hate me, considering that we've vassalised them. So now we have some vassals. We do have some extra options that you can do with your subjects now. I did point this out in my other video where I was talking about the differences in common sense. And you can see, if we go onto the subject screen, there are a couple of buttons here, which is enable embargo rivals and enable scutage. If we actually click on subject interactions, you get a few more, although some of them are greyed out. So you can either placate local rulers, which basically it reduces their liberty desire, but it costs us some prestige. So if you ever get a vassal or a subject nation that is getting high liberty desire, you can spend some prestige to bring it down. That's basically what that means. We can also force them to embargo our rivals. Now that does give them a 5% liberty desire, but it's actually quite useful. We're going to go ahead and do that. We could place a relative on the throne. Now, we can only do that if they have a regency. But that means that, again, it gives them plus 10% liberty desire, but it gives us a much higher chance of getting a personal union with them. We can also enforce them to change their religion to the same religion as us, but that gives quite a lot of liberty desire, 50%. If they were a lesser partner in a personal union, we could even force them to change their culture. And we can enable scutage, which basically means that they give us an extra 50% income on top of what they already give us, which doesn't work out to be a lot because it's only 50% of what they're already giving us, which is 15%. So basically, they give us an extra 7.5%. So imagine that 50% of 0.08 ducats. So they'd be basically giving us another 0.04 ducats. It's not an awful lot, but it would mean that they wouldn't be called to fight with us in a war. So that's the whole purpose of that. These guys have arrived. Let's group them up. We're going to go ahead and consolidate the regiments. That should mean that we'll get our manpower up a little bit more quickly. Yep, units have suffered casualties. Hopefully we'll get them reinforced and it won't take too long. We should start to get some manpower back now. Of course, we should have a slightly... I think we were at 34 before was our supply limit. Of course, we are losing some of that autonomy. We burn it off quite quickly, being an English monarchy. We've also just grabbed an extra province, which isn't a great province, but it's not too bad. It's got a development of 10. You know, it's decent. It's fair enough. I don't think the unrest is going to be too much of a problem. So they've got a thing now called separatism, which gives them plus 15. That is basically what nationalism was. So they've just changed the name. Makes a lot of sense because, of course, you know, they're not nationalists because the nation is England. They're separatists. They want to separate from England. Let's just have a... Well, let's just do this for the Byzantine refugees. So we can lose 50 diplo and 30 admin power for cheaper tech cost. For... That's a lot of years, actually. 30 years of cheaper tech cost. Or lose 5 prestige. 50 diplo, 30 admin. We can afford to do that for the number. If it was like 5 years, 10 years, I wouldn't have bothered. But for 30 years, that is really worth it. Looks like Provence actually lost Maine and Anjou, which is a shame. And they've lost Provence as well. Wow. France actually gobbled up their capital. And the Papal States managed to grab that province. So Provence has totally gone at this point. Oh, well, glad I didn't ally with them. Not too sure how useful Brittany are going to be in a fight. My main purpose for having Brittany around is that if the French do declare on them, it will call us into a war. There is a new pope. It's actually Aragon, which is a shame. I missed my opportunity there to go and click the button again, which is a little bit stupid. Are we likely to become the papal controller? I'm not doing very well on missions so far this game. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that mission because it's going to be a while before we get another pope elected anyway. Manpower is going up. So what's the deal with France at the moment? Right, Aragon have rivaled you as well. That's not a surprise. Right, relationships. Castile still quite like me. You're currently fighting Morocco. That's hardly a surprise. Portugal still like me. You're fighting against the Papal State and Morocco as well. Brittany's not doing an awful lot. Although you are fighting against Lorraine in the Breton Conquest of Anjou. Hang on, you're the attacker against Lorraine in the Breton Conquest of Anjou. Well, you're the Bretons. So does that mean you're trying to take Anjou? Because you now can't, because Anjou is French and you can't siege it. Let's have a look under relations. Current wars. And now we see if we can spot the flag. Well, there's a pretty major one going on there. Look at that, the Papal Conquest of Abruzzi. The Papal States, a couple of places that I've never heard of and can't pronounce. Burgundy, Nevers, Brabant, Flanders, Holland. And mind you, most of these are just Burgundy's personal unions. Against Aragon, Naples, Portugal and the Knights. Wow, they're going to be quite busy. Oh, there it is, the Breton Conquest of Anjou. So it is basically just Brittany versus Lorraine to take Anjou. So why is Lorraine involved? And you can't take Anjou because it's now French. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Mind you, there are a lot of things in this game that don't make sense from time to time. So I'm only 1 over my relationship limit, which is not too bad. We've got some money in the tank. We could go ahead and build a building or two. What do we like for advisors? I think we're still 1 short. It might be worth it, because we are making money. It might be worth picking up a Diplo advisor. Simply because we are spending that extra point to have an extra relation. I guess we could go morale of navies. I think the morale of navies actually increases their ability to do trade. But spy offense we don't really need, and they're the only 2 level 1 guys. We'll go ahead and grab this guy. What we will also do as well is we'll just put down our army maintenance a tiny bit. There we go, because we can't fully reinforce anyway. We've taken that that fort offline, and we don't need to put a fort in Ulster because the fort in Meath actually covers it, you see. And when we grab Leinster, in fact, if we ever are in a position where we control the whole of Ireland, the only place that won't actually be covered by this fort is Munster itself, which we could go and grab later. Got a loan coming due. I think I've only got the 1 loan, so that won't be too bad. We can get that paid off. So what are we up to here? Okay, so these regiments are actually fully reinforced. We'll wait until we've got a little bit more manpower in the tank and we'll start increasing our regiments slowly. And it might be a good idea that I've actually cancelled that mission to become the Papal Controller. What might happen is we might actually now get some missions where we need to increase our force limit to match France or something like that. So that'll actually be quite good for us. Who else would we like to make? Oh, no, who I didn't check on? Austria. What are you up to these days? You're not currently in any wars. I'm very, very surprised I haven't been called into any wars with Austria. Don't have a particularly high relationship with Austria. They do apparently like me quite a lot. But let's go ahead and suck up with them. What about Denmark? Because you rivaled me at one point. Yeah, you've still got me rivaled. I don't know why. What have I ever done to you? We could become the Defender of the Faith because we've got a bit of money. Speaking of a bit of money, do we want to go ahead and build any buildings anywhere? Only buildings we've got options to at the moment are the marketplace trade buildings. I want to actually unlock temples. We need to get admin tech level 4 because that will give us quite a bit of tax. Dropping one of those in London could be absolutely fantastic. If I were to put a marketplace down anywhere, would any place give me significant additional trade value? We'll get 3.8 if we decided we wanted to drop one down here in Essex. Maybe for 95 ducats, that's not a bad idea. It does take up a building slot, but it does have 4. So that'll give us a little bit of extra trade power. And we could also go and grab another one over here in Yorkshire as well, because that's got 4 building slots. Let's go and do that. I mean, the good thing about England is a lot of it is about getting decent trade going. But we have gone over the 20-minute mark, so that is probably going to be a good point to end the video. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying EU4, and I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye for now.